Okay, this is Professor Conkle. This is CIS120, Fall 2011. I'm going to go over Week 1 PowerPoint this week. You should successfully have already subscribed to the course podcast or you wouldn't be watching this, so good job. After you watch a podcast, you can go ahead and begin the Week 1 Case 1. That's going to be due October 4th at midnight. It's in your book on page EX49. Here's the needed file for the exercise assignment. And here is the source file example of the completed document. Let's go and get started on showing you some things in Excel to get started here. I'm using the beginning of the book on Excel Tutorial 1, Getting Started with Excel, going over how to understand spreadsheets in Excel, the parts of a window, scrolling around through a worksheet and navigating between workbooks or worksheets, creating and saving a workbook file, entering text numbers and dates into a worksheet, resizing, inserting, and removing columns and rows, selecting and moving cell ranges, inserting formulas, inserting, deleting, and moving and renaming worksheets, working with editing tools, and previewing and printing a workbook. So Office 2007 or 2010, if you have it, is a program used to enter, analyze, and present quantitative data. A spreadsheet is a collection of text and numbers laid out in a rectangular grid. It's often used in businesses for budgeting, inventory management, and decision making. What-if analysis lets you change one or more values and then assess the effect. For instance, if you had a budget and you budgeted in $200 for utilities and it happens to be $250 when the budget hits for the month, you can change it in the spreadsheet and it'll change your total. This is an example of, in a spreadsheet, you've got a cash flow comparison, and the numbers here in the budgeted area could represent other, like on row 5, budgeted 4,500, but actual is 4,500. Go down to the next one, cash sales, budgeted was 12,600, but the actual is 14,688. If you scroll down with your eyes there to the line 14, row 14, the cash balance could be updated. So the different parts of the Excel window, on the top left, if you have Office 2007, you're going to have an Office button. If you have Office 2010, you're going to have a File button. Then you have Quick Access Toolbar to the right, Title Bar, which says Book 1 Microsoft Excel. The ribbon, which we'll go over. The ribbon has Home, Insert, Page Layout, Formulas, Data, Review, and View. Also, you have Cell, Active Cell, Formula Bar, and then bottom right, you're going to have such things as a horizontal bar, shortcuts, zoom controls, and then the actual scroll bar. So let's go ahead and look at an actual example here. So up here on the right, I'm running 2010 on my computer here, but you could have 2007 as well. And you'll notice on mine, we've got File menu for 2010, then Home, Insert, Page Layout, Formulas, Data, Review, and View. If you have 2007, you're going to have an Office button instead of File. It's the only difference right now that you need to know. Here's a shortcut toolbar, saving, undoing, redoing. Shortcut for undoing is always going to be Control-Z, redoing, Control-Y. You have normal and page layout view. Normal view is usually when you're entering data. Page layout view is usually viewed to see what it looks like prior to printing. This is what it would look like if the page was to be printed here. So here is when I click on a cell, you'll notice the name box changes to the cell reference. Where my mouse is pointed to now is the A1 reference, A column, first row, A2, A column, second row, so on and so forth. This is a formula. You'll learn this next few weeks within the 5-week class, where you can do sums of rows, calculations, all within a formula. This first row is usually reserved for headings of a spreadsheet. And you'll notice here at the bottom, by default, you're going to have 3 spreadsheets. If I double click on a spreadsheet, it allows me to rename it. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this customer, just for the example. And if I don't need these other ones, I can just right click and delete the tabs and they'll disappear. And so, again, cell references, as you click on them, these are just text boxes here, just text input. If I go ahead and put in an example here of myself, I'll show you how to resize. And you'll notice as I typed here, the cell is too big for the columns. All you need to do is double click in between the columns and to allow for the cells to expand as needed. I'm going to go and put 2 in there, and price per DVD we'll do 25. Okay. And so I'll just give you real quick on this example here, I have 2 DVDs at this price, and then the charge is going to be this, be 2 times 525. And so right within here I can do an equation real quick to show you. Right now it's going to be, it looks like F2 times G2 and I'm going to go ahead and take this whole column and format it. And again, I'm just jumping ahead a little bit just to show you how easy this is, and we'll be learning this. And I've just formatted this whole column to be currency. And what's really neat about it is I'm going to go ahead and pretend that I've already entered in a whole bunch of information here. I'm just going to duplicate this information. One of the things I just did, I showed you, was it allows you in Excel to highlight an area, whether one cell or multiple cells, and then this little black box allows you to click on it and drag it down to duplicate. I'm going to do the same here, but I'm going to change the numbers to be a little different just to show you how we're going to duplicate a formula as well and copy it, basically. I'll keep the price the same. I'm going to click on that, click on the black box. Formula. You'll notice all I did was click on the black box, little black box here, drag down, and what it's going to do is change this formula. This one here is F2 times G2. This one here is F3 times G3, so on and so forth. So real quickly, I showed you how to resize columns by double clicking in between to allow them to grow, to widen. Second, you can easily format columns, and we'll learn more about this semester by just right clicking on a column, formatting them, and selecting a category and applying it. And tonight, again, just an overview of how to get around Excel. And then the other thing I showed you was a duplication, selecting one or multiple cells, clicking on the black box and dragging down. Let's go back to our PowerPoint slide. The other thing I'll show you is a horizontal view scroll, and the scroll bars. It's used quite often. Down here on the bottom right, I can zoom in and out of a spreadsheet to easily see it on my screen. That's a new feature within 2007, 2010. That's going to be used a lot. And then on the right here, I can scroll up and down with my scroll bar if I need to, and here with a scroll bar as well if I need to. I'll go over these tabs real quick now. Home tab is generally going to be all your formatting. Font size, type, color, alignment, number formatting, conditional formatting, which we'll go over. You can format a whole table to be as you want it to be. I can highlight this and it'll actually, as I hover over these, it will, and click on them, it'll actually hover and change it. Cells, I can format different cells, insert, delete rows and columns, insert and delete. I can do a sum, which I'll do down here just to show you how easy this is. I'll pretend this is our total line down here. And I want to maybe total it here. I can just click on this where the line I want these to be totaled from here, from F2 to 8, F8. I'm just going to click on this and notice it automatically did F2 through F9. Hit enter, and I can actually modify this a little bit if I want to. And now I'm going to click on this little black box, drag it over, and notice it's doing G2 through G8 now automatically. If I drag it over one more time, it's going to do H2 through H18. I'll go ahead and format this cell here to be a currency. And I'll do a Control S on my keyboard to save what I'm working on so far. I'll name this week 1. Or I could have went to File, Save as well, either one. So that's a Home tab. Also allows you to do such things as filtering, finding, and select. The Insert tab allows you to insert tables, pictures, clip art, columns and charts, what's called spark lines. You'll learn about this next few weeks. Filter, hyperlinks, headers and footers, word art, and symbols. Page layout goes over such things as orientation of the page, whether it be portrait by default or landscape, margins, and other page setup. Scale to fit is just that. It can scale to fit the page onto the printed page for you. Grid lines, you can either view them or not view them. And they can also be grid lines on print too, by default. It's not. And then also arranging items. Formula allows you to do things like look up different formulas that are allowed within Excel, thousands of different formulas. Define names, formula auditing, and calculations. On the data, you can import data from other databases, Excel spreadsheets, Access database, SQL databases. You can sort and filter data. Data tools on what-if analysis and an outline is also there. Review, you can actually share this document with other people and review, allow them to mark it up in this area here on the changes. Here you can look up, if needed, spell check, thesaurus. And then finally the view is just a larger view here of this down here at the bottom. Allows you to do multiple different views. So back to the spreadsheet or PowerPoint real quick. In your book on Figure 1.4 goes over the features and descriptions. I won't read these on the PowerPoint, but you'll need to read those and what each one of them does. Also Figure 1.5 as well, the different control keys that allows you to do certain things within Excel. So before you begin, what you're going to do is develop a what-if analysis sheet on what you need to do to create this, what problems you have, what data you need, what calculations you need, and then how you're going to put it on a form before you ever start a spreadsheet. And so if it was a budget, you figure out how many months of budget you're going to do, the different categories of budget. Could be mortgage, utilities, car payment, so on and so forth. I've already went over this one, but this slide here, but the formula bar actually allows you to display the contents of the active cell. The text data is either letters, numbers, or symbols. The numeric data is any numeric value for mathematical calculation, like I did in the example already. Date and time data are commonly recognized formats, also in Excel. When you first click on a cell, you can actually go right in and do multiple lines by the Alt-Enter key. And so if I wanted to come down here and enter more information and do Alt-Enter, it allows me to go down to the next. And this is actually expanding the entire row by using the Alt-Enter. I'm going to do Control-Z to go back out there. Changing the column width by double-clicking in between the columns allows you to do that. Auto-fitting allows you to do, eliminates any empty spacing within the rows. And basically what that is you can actually right-click on a row and a column both, either one, and go down to the formatting, and you want to go into the auto-fitting. By default, it's going to be set at auto-fitting. And notice here, you can go to the alignment and shrink it to text. If I highlight this whole cell or this column, click on the A, go to the column width. You can manually widen it, or you can do it automatically as well. Changing the column width, you can click and drag like I showed you earlier. You can double click in between it, which will auto fit it, which is the default. And you can also click on the Home tab on the ribbon, click the Format button in the Cells group, and then click Auto Fit Column and Row as both. So again, Home, Format button on the Cells group. So here we're on the Home tab, and the Format button on the Cells group is going to allow us to do that. We can do conditional formatting, cell styles, allows us to do that as well. Formatting the cells, notice here we have auto fit. I can basically select all of my columns, do a format auto fit column width, and then I could also do an auto fit row height, to where it's automatically going to fit regardless what the width of my column is. So I expanded my address here, go to the next one, it's going to automatically auto fit into that column. There it is. I've already showed you how to insert column and row. You can insert them by clicking on the row and the tab. You can do it manually, or say I wanted to insert one on this one. I can just right click, insert. Notice it gives me a new row. If I want to do a new column, I could right click, insert, and it'll give me a new column. Clearing data removes it from the cells and makes them blank. Deleting it also does it.